story of the 2021 Milwaukee Brewers and their excellent pitching.
The sticky stuff.
For the W. Wait for it. Should have kept it Miller Park.
For the W. Especially for the playoffs.
Yes, and another episode, another installment of the sticky stuff, and we have Francisco back from the Walking Off Pod.
Hey, Francisco!
What's up, man?
What's up? I have a feeling you guys don't like the new name of the park. Is that the vibe that I'm getting?
I don't know how you would have gotten such deep inside information about our personal preference, but yes, in fact, we do think they should have kept it Miller Park.
I agree. It kind of sounds a lot better. But now I think AmFam after one season is kind of feeling kind of back to the way, kind of normal. Although it's going to take years. I think if we win a World Series there, we'll be like, yeah, AmFam rocks,
Yeah, we'll take it over.
Yeah, then we'll be pissed when they change it back.
But it'll be like Heineken Field or something. It would be some weird.
Yeah, some foreign beer.
Now, Spotted Cow Stadium would have people pumped.
Oh, that would be a good one. You should have kept it Miller Park or changed it to Spotted Cow Stadium.
Spotted Cow.
So, but we're back this week, and Francisco, we've asked you to come on. You graciously have allowed us a little bit more of your time, which is a surprise to us, but we were very excited about it because the Brewers are going to the playoffs, and we got to know more about this whole situation.
I paused the Raider game to come on here, and I love my Raiders, but that just shows you how excited I am to talk about the Brewers, and I always enjoy talking to you guys. Love your podcast. I listen to it. I think you guys do a great job, and I'm always happy to come on and talk Brewers and baseball in general. And yeah, dude, 4 straight seasons in the postseason. Not many teams can say that. And I think this season, the feeling entering the postseason is higher. Like the belief that this team can actually do it is the highest it's been out of all 4 years. Because in 18, we're like, maybe. And then in 19, we're like, okay, we can do this. And then we have the error. And then 20, we're like, yeah, we're probably going to get swept. And then this year, we're like, okay, we can actually win the World Series. So, this team is really exciting. The vibe around it. I would have loved if they won more, in the last 2 weeks. But
don't we all?
It's a whole new season, as Christian Yelich tweeted out earlier.
Absolutely. The season starts. And also, I'd like to pull up a quote from Craig Counsell.
I like him.
Oh, love Craig Counsell. And
I'm pro Counsell.
Yeah. And
is this a pro Counsell pod?
It is.
Okay, cool.
Counsell pod. We believe Craig Counsell is probably the greatest manager in baseball. Now, we've only recently started dipping our toes into any kind of deep diving into baseball, so maybe we're not the most educated, but I'll just say from what I've seen, I'm just saying he's got to be in the conversation. But what Craig Counsell, the greatest manager in the history of baseball, had to say about the last couple weeks is, quote, "Let's not complain about a week where we had baseball games where we already knew we were going to the playoffs. I guess you guys can if you want. I just don't understand it," end quote. So he's taking our podcast long held position is that baseball is a sport because there's so many games that's hard to care about all the time. And Craig Counsell's basically here saying, as the greatest manager in the game, personal opinion, exactly what we've been saying. It's hard to care, Nick. You're already going. What do you think, Francisco? Is Craig Counsell out of something, or do you think he's just like making an excuse?
I think what else could he say in that situation? Like, yeah, my team sucks, Pack it in. We'll try this again next season. Maybe we'll end up on a higher note. No, he said what a manager should say. You know what? This team, we clinched the postseason a couple games later, series later, we clinched the division. They weren't really playing for anything. They didn't want the number 1 seed. Like, they didn't want to have to go face the Dodgers or whoever wins the Cardinals in the Dodgers series. Like, they're happy with where they're at. I mean, they did what they're supposed to do. I saw a lot of Giants fans were mad because they were resting some starters and didn't go deep in the game against the Dodgers, and the Dodgers ended up not winning that division anyway. So the whole point was mute. But who cares? Like it is what it is. He did what he's supposed to do. The team's healthy for the most part heading into the postseason, and our top 3 starters are healthy. Our rotation is pretty much healthy. He did what he's supposed to do, and he said what he's supposed to say. He's saying all the right things, and that's because he's the greatest manager ever. And we just discussed this. It's solidified, right? Like we've established that he is the greatest manager ever. Probably should be in the Hall of Fame
in baseball history, anyway.
And why continue to argue anything? I don't think anyone is arguing.
Some people want to lump in cricket managers as well. I choose not to do that for my rankings, but well. You bring up injuries, and the other possible explanation of this recent skid is that Devin Williams was low-key the most important pitcher on our staff somehow. What kind of impact is losing Devin Williams going to have on I've basically been dismissing this as kind of like a non-issue come, the playoffs, but maybe I'm wrong on that. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Let's first of all talk about the injury to begin with. It wasn't after a loss. You didn't get blown up, and then you've seen that before, right? I think the Braves pitcher actually, he broke his hand against the wall, and I tweeted out a couple of days ago, the wall is undefeated this season because those who punched the wall, I think in the lifetime, it's like 5-0 or 6-0, whatever it is in the last couple seasons. You can't punch a wall and expect to win, and it was not even in anger. It was like in a celebration. Like it was a celebratory punch. Like, like who does that?
Celebratory punches anymore for the Brewers.
No.
That's gotta be kind of like taken out of the.
Don't even high five. No high fives. Just air high five. Like bubble wrap that up, and don't allow anyone else to get injured. But no, in all seriousness, I think this team will be fine. It does set them back a little bit. Obviously, when you had a 9th inning guy in Hader, and then you have an 8th inning guy where in the 8th inning Devin Williams is going to get the ball. That's his role. And relief pitchers and baseball players in general, they're creatures of habit, right? They like to know where they're going to go. Hader, he's the 9th inning. He knows that. Devin Williams, he's the 8th inning guy. Boxberg kind of had that 7th inning, and then it kind of went from there. Now all of that's kind of thrown in a weird scenario now. So who's going to get the 8th inning? Probably Boxberger. He's had closing experience. He's been really good this season, but then so has Hunter Strickland. And so has Jake Cousins, who's coming off an injury. So we'll see how he pitches. And then you can also throw in Hauser, because Hauser probably isn't going to be a starting pitcher, but he can come out of the bullpen. So they have arms. It's just now like the mental side of things that can always cause an issue. I don't think it will be, because this team is pretty. They have the best manager in baseball history to kind of guide them through. So I think, and he's really good at kind of picking and choosing where to put players and where to pitch people. Can this team still win the World Series? Absolutely. Does it get harder? Well, yeah, you lost one of your best relievers, but at the same time, they've played stretches on the season without him, and they won games. So I think they'll be fine in the long term. It's just 2 postseasons in a row that he hasn't pitched, and that's kind of frustrating because he's a very talented pitcher, and it just made things a lot harder. I don't know how his teammates feel.
True.
I know that, like he can't be happy, like we're not inviting him to parties anymore.
No,
he takes it too far.
Stop celebrating, dude.
Sorry, Devin. It's like, what are you guys up to? It's like
nothing.
Early night.
He's ready to party, like bring up a sad moment in his life to just bring him down a little bit. Like,
yeah,
I can't have him celebrating.
No. Everybody's got to get like foot handshakes with him moving forward. Like, let's keep this guy. Let's get him a bubble to wear.
He cannot celebrate until they win the World Series, and then he has an off season to recover from whatever broken limb he will no doubtly get in his celebration.
Absolutely, we should send a letter to Craig Counsell that we've got plans for Devin and we'll take care of him, but he's not allowed to
no
stray
celebrating.
from no celebrating. Now so was he the best setup man in baseball this year, do you think?
No. I mean, last year he was.
Yeah.
Last year he was almost untouchable. There was a drop off, but it was going to happen. There's no way he could replicate what he did last season. Like, he was incredible. Was he up there with the best? Yeah, at times you can see that change up, that the sinker or the airbender, what they call him, and at times you're like, wow, we can't hit him, or no one can hit him. But then at times he looked hittable. So he was somewhat inconsistent, but he wasn't ever like bad, right? He was just almost he was just basically a really good reliever, but he wasn't that like untouchable reliever that he was at times. But we did see flashes of it. And you obviously can go on Twitter, you see like Pitching Ninja. He's all over the place with Devin Williams. Was he the best setup guy? No, I don't think so. I think there's probably other setup men all over baseball who could probably have that claim as the best setup guy. You just look at the White Sox. They have two closers, Liam Hendricks as the ninth inning guy, and then they have just a guy named now my mind's trying to blank who they got as who they traded for from the Cubs.
I don't know. I'm blanking as well. You know, it's funny. I was just
that guy. He does
like huge White Sox fans. Either way, well,
some guy. But no, to answer your question, he's not the greatest or the best setup guy this season, but he was a really good one, and the Brewers will miss him.
Yeah, I did have one more follow-up too, because something we touched on last pod with you was that Josh Hader and his innings may increase a bit as the playoffs wore on. Well, now I think once you start getting into those like elimination style games, those really tight playoff games, I would not be surprised to see Josh Hader out there in the 8th inning. I mean, I was warming up a take that he'd be coming in like the 6th, 7th inning, ready to go. But
I remember I said put that take away.
Right.
So put it back in the freezer. Okay. Don't bake that one yet.
Well, Devin was a believer in it, and so he crushed his own hand to see what Josh could do earlier in the game than what we'd usually see. And another one that you mentioned, Craig Counsell, has always been really revolutionary as far as his empowerment of his entire bullpen, and kind of squeezing the best out of them all the time. We're going to need that definitely moving forward. So it's just going to be interesting to see. I'm with you that it's not necessarily the biggest loss. So
yeah, and Craig Kimbrell is the name that I was thinking of on the White Sox.
Yes,
he may be one of the best setup guys, and they have a ton of setup people on that White Sox team. Their bullpen is very, very good. Which
I'm
is
hoping
fine.
for that series, the I-94 series, because 35th Street in Chicago, Comiskey Park, or not, Guaranteed Rate Field now is right there.
Park.
Yeah, you just hop on 94, head straight north, exit 310B for should be Miller Park Way, is now probably AmFam Way or something. It's just like you just head up and down the highway. That's all you got to do. White Sox Brewers. I'm trying to speak it into existence here.
And that's a good point, because that's a team that we could possibly face in the series, were we to make it there. And this episode, Francisco, I'm not even sure if I told you, this episode is the Milwaukee Brewers playoff special. Extravaganza Megasode. I don't know.
I've never heard Megasode before. That's
Megazone. Megazone.
Megasode.
Megasode. Okay. Sounds like a Power Ranger or something.
Exactly. Oh, 100%. They're behind this.
Yep, definitely.
But without further Magoo, we do. We do want to know more about some of the teams we're going to be facing, specifically the Braves, the team we're going to be facing here in the first round, and then some of the competition, because we just had a series against the Dodgers where we didn't really care. It seemed like. The Giants a little bit earlier, that was, we played very well against the Giants in that series. So just kind of trying to get an idea of what we could face competition wise, in these playoffs.
Well, when you look at the Angels, the Braves, we faced them 6 games, 3-3. We split it. I think the home team won each series, which is interesting. You don't always see it that way, but that's the way it was. But when you look at who they have, they're going to go ahead and start off with Charlie Morton as their game 1 starter. And I don't know if the Brewers have announced who they're starting. I would like it to be Woodruff. That's who I think it should be. But some part of me thinks they're going to go Burns, which is not wrong. You're fine. He's lowest ERA in baseball or in the
Probably the
National
Cy
League at
Young
least,
winner.
and
Yeah, probably.
possible Cy Young winner, and
Yeah.
probable, I guess you should say. So you can't go wrong with him. But I just feel like Woodruff in that spot would be really beneficial to the team because let's say you lose, and then you're down 0-1. Like you want like Burns on the mound to make sure we can at least get a split and not have go down 0-2, which would be terrible. Very bad. Good for nothing day if that if that happened. I would not be happy. But I mean, this team that the Braves have, like, it's funny because at the trade deadline they were under 500, and they made some trades. They completely redid their outfield. They picked up a ton of players. Jock Peterson from the Cubs, and then they got the reliever from the Pirates, and they got a couple other players and completely redid their outfield. And next thing you know, they're in the playoffs. And I'm like, wow, okay. They lost their best player, Ronald Acuna, and they're still in the playoffs. But they do have a lot of talent. They have Albies, they have Freeman, they have Jock Peterson's always good. Stephen Vogt is their catcher. I forgot they even had him there. He's been in the postseason with the Brewers, of course, and several other teams. He has postseason experience. This team is not a team that we can overlook or take lightly. There's a good chance they can win. That's just how baseball is in the postseason. You never know. The best team doesn't always win the series. So it's going to be and it's going to be really interesting how our pitching goes up against their hitters, because like I said, they have Freeman, who is an all-star. He can hit it crazy. Albies is really good. There's one more guy it's really bugging me that I can't think of his name right now, but Austin Riley. They have him who had over 100 RBIs. William Contreras, Dansby Swanson's a really good player. So they have a lot of good hitters. It's going to be really important that our pitching staff can really keep them at bay. And then also, like, how's that bullpen? We just talked about it. How's the bullpen gonna in those late crucial innings, can they lock down these hitters? Because like I said, they have a really, really good lineup.
They are third in Major League Baseball in home runs on the year.
Giants are first, so hopefully we have to see them.
Right. And so that boosts all of their like advanced stats way up. I mean, this is a pretty middle of the road team as far as batting average is concerned, as far as total hits are concerned, but their home runs are just like off the charts. And then you contrast that with the Brewers pitching staff, who gave up the 5th least home runs, and also is, just a strikeout factory, with the most strikeouts in the majors. I just do wonder if that offense, I've always been a proponent of pitching is what wins in the playoffs in baseball. Yeah. And their pitching staff is okay, pretty good, but it's
ours is really damn good.
Yeah, man. Ours is. I mean,
wait, are you talking about ours or the Braves?
The Braves is like it's okay, but the Brewers is
it's so much better. Like,
yeah, I mean, it has a chance if they do perform here in the playoffs. I mean, it'll go down as one of the greatest pitching staffs ever. And so I just look at the Braves as kind of a second tier threat to this team. But also I do have to admit, I am always pessimistic about the Braves because they originally were from Milwaukee and left like losers and haven't won a World Series just like us. So hopefully we can get that one. I feel like the Brewers got to win it before the Braves, and this is the perfect year for it. Is all I'm saying in a karmic sense.
Yeah. No, I get that. But I mean, if you look at who they're throwing out there, their pitchers aren't bad at all. Charlie Morton won a World Series with the Astros. He pitched really well, got himself an extension. And so he's had a lot of postseason success. Max Fried is a really good starter. Ian Anderson's a really good starter. Hyoscar Inoa, who also, broke his hand or fractured his hand or whatever, punching a wall. He's not bad himself. I'm pretty sure this is the Wall series. I'm pretty sure he's healthy and stuff. But no, I mean they have arms, and While I think the Brewers should win, and I think they should win in at least 4 games. Hopefully, if we go to 5, then it's anyone can win. We need to take care of them in 4 games and not have to worry about a game 5. Because then all of Wisconsin, like the haters come out, or not the haters, but like the Wisconsin curse, like we're not going to win, like whatever it is.
Let's go. Those are haters. You correctly.
Haters, yeah, that's right.
Absolutely.
Some of them listen to the pod.
You're a hater, but we love you. Keep listening.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this. So let's say the Atlanta pitching staff comes out and throws their best game, and the Brewers pitching staff comes out and throws their best game. It's my opinion, and tell me if I'm wrong, this is another kind of warming take in my oven here, that because the Brewers don't rely on offense at all to win games, it is more advantageous for us if there's a real pitching duel, because our pitchers are better, though theirs are good, like you said. But the Brewers are just so good at like scrounging it out. They seem to have this moxie to them where they win a lot of close games. And I just feel like in a series like this, where we're going up against an offense that is a decent primer for whatever comes next, whoever we play next will be better than I think this Braves team, if we're able to win. Is that a decent assessment?
I mean, yeah, this is a good tone setter for the team. A good something to whet their appetite, if you want an appetizer for the series against either the Dodgers, the Cardinals, or the Giants with a World Series berth on the line there. I agree. I think if this is going to be a pitching duel, then I think the edge has to go to Milwaukee. If this is going to be one of those slugfest games, then the edge probably goes to Atlanta because they have some heavy hitters. They have a lot of home run hitters. And I'll ask you guys a trivia question. I came prepared with this trivia question. Of the Brewers pitching relief pitchers, who has given up the most home runs in postseason in recent history?
Axford, the Axeman.
No, like on the team.
On the team?
Yeah.
Does Hater count?
It wasn't Hater. It's not Hater.
I'll go. I don't know. We've only had. I'll say Miguel Sanchez, but it can't be Miguel Sanchez.
I don't think he's ever pitched in the postseason.
We've never. I was going to say we've never given up a postseason home run. Is my thought. No, who is it?
Hunter Strickland.
Really?
He has given up, I think, 11 home runs in the postseason between San Francisco and Washington.
Jesus, he can't play.
And in 2014, in one series in the NLDS, he gave up 3 home runs. That same series in the NLCS, he gave up another home run. In the World Series, he gave up 2 home runs, and then with the Nationals, he gave up a total of 3 home runs. So, yeah, he's very. But we need him to go thing to know. No, the key thing is that they both won the World Series that year.
Oh, so be bad.
So maybe he should be pitching, and maybe he should give up a couple long ones to guarantee us another. Guarantee him another World Series and us our first.
Absolutely. I love. I think the Brewers should lean all the way in. I think Craig Counsell has always managed this way, and I completely 100% agree with you that we should be like taking our lead from the vibes of things and the the ethos surrounding the team has always been that we're just going to just figure it out on the fly with crazy pitching rotations and so many substitutions that they have to change rules to, disallow Craig Counsell from being his best self. But
I think Hall of Fame self, if some would say.
If he wins, is he in the Hall of Fame if he wins?
No, he needs to win more than one. He needs to win a couple more if he wants to be in. I mean, he's on the right path. I mean, they have a team that can go back and repeat the next couple of years, but I don't know if he's. I mean, he is one of the longest tenured managers, so he's on the right path. I think when it's all said and done, if he can get at least one, and then make it maybe to another, and keep his team and compete, I think he is on that path. But there's a lot of managers with one World Series ring and they haven't been in the Hall of Fame yet.
But have they done it with the swag that Craig
Mm.
The swag.
I don't know if he's really the swaggiest of managers. Just looking at him, arms folded, very calm and collected. Like he's not he doesn't scream swag when I see him on the sidelines.
Swag, Francisco. It's an inner swag.
Outer peace, inner swag.
Yes.
You gotta love it.
What do we need to watch for? How will we know things are going well and things are going bad, or if things are going badly, that they're going badly in the series, like game 2? Like what are some signs that we should be looking for in this upcoming series?
That's a good question. It's really I think it's gonna really be from game 1 right away. How does the pitching look? Because we've seen, and I hate to say this, but I feel like we've seen some of our pitchers in big moments kind of shrivel under the pressure. Not to where they're like bad, but they're just not as sharp. I think of like Burns in the All-Star game. He was like one of the only pitchers to give up multiple hits and a couple runs. When there was a couple national televised games, a Sunday night game, I think, I can't remember which one it was, Burns or Woodruff. I want to say Burns. He sort of struggled a little bit. I want to see how they pitch under pressure. They had a run last season. You know, it is what it is. And then this is going to be like the real shot, I think, when they would win a World Series. So how are they going to pitch when the lights on, right? Because when the postseason lights turn on, like you see players either rise to the occasion or they kind of shrink back and they really disappoint, right? If you think of even like that's why I think the Astros could win the World Series again. And I hate saying that, but you look at their players like Altuve, Springer, although he's gone now, Carlos Correa, their third baseman, Alex Bregman. When the lights turn on in the postseason, those guys just they turn it on to a whole nother level. So I want to see how our pitching staff in game 1 can rise to the occasion. If they can be what we think they can be, shut them down and win a close game, probably like a 2-1 game, 3-1 game, and we can really keep it tight, then I think that instills confidence going forward. And then each pitcher kind of builds off of that. If they go in game 1 and just throw a stinker out and like next thing you know, we're down 4 or 5 runs in the first or second inning, then like the haters will all start coming out like, oh, we can never do it. You know, this is Wisconsin. It's the curse. I think because like you said, this team relies on pitching. The offense is going to come, but like if we're going to win series, it's going to be because of pitching. We're not going to out slug another team. We can't out hit another team. I mean, maybe a game here and there, but for a whole series, that could all change if Yelich all of a sudden becomes like Yelich of like old, his MVP Yelich. Then we can maybe perhaps, you know, go that route. But we don't have the talent offensively. Like we have good players, but we don't have like 30-40 home, you know, they don't got that in them. We're not the Giants who can outslug you, the Braves who can outslug you. It's going to be pitching. So we look at game 1, how does the pitching look? And how do we look with runners in scoring position? Because you know as well as I know, this team all throughout the season, when there's runners in scoring position, they don't always get them home. A lot of times they couldn't get them home. So how does that look? I think that's going to really set the tone against for this series, at least for this individual series, and we move on from there.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, we could pitch well and still lose depending on what our hitting looks like, and we've seen that plenty of times.
Absolutely. How many times has Byrne gone out throwing like 7-8 innings shutty, and then we're like, oh yeah, the Brewers lost 1-0. You're like, oh, you know, so it could happen, you know. It's just like, oh,
I'd like to know that I don't think that that hitting matters. I believe in this pitching staff. I think Burns was drunk at the All-Star game. Possible.
There's a good possibility.
I think Devin Williams doesn't matter. I think that Hader and our elite bullpen is enough to step up. And so, like I said, if we said this about the Bucks in the playoffs during their run, that against the Brooklyn Nets, the best offense in the history of the league, they had to drag them to the mud. And that's what the Brewers are going to have to do and have been doing all season. And so that's what I'm really sticking to as we enter this series against the loser Braves who left the city of Milwaukee, city of champions, Milwaukee. I'm hoping that our pitchers have matured from the last couple of postseasons that we've seen and are ready now to put it all together. And I hope that that Yelich hits it. I mean, that's to me the MVP. If Yelich is the MVP of a series, then we're going to win. If Yelich doesn't, we may not score enough runs to, we may not score any runs, so that's
it doesn't get easier though, because like we face the Dodgers, they have a lot of talent, MVPs all over, and Cy Young winners all over that team, and then the Giants as well. And if you get to the World Series, then you're going to face the Rays or the Astros or the White Sox. Like
there's no easy road.
No.
Best to travel in the mud. Then that's what I'm saying. I
gotta get down dirty.
Yep. Keep the runs low, but the spirits sky high, as we say in our intro. And that's what this team needs to do to advance. So you think those are the contenders though? The teams you just listed, the Rays, White Sox, Astros, Giants, and Dodgers. Is that the
I think
and then the Brewers?
Those are most of the teams in the postseason. I just listed.
That's how baseball works. That's the playoffs there. That's
yeah. So what happens is that at the end of the season, there's a couple teams that kind of make it to the.
I'm still learning this baseball sport.
Hop on the bandwagon. It's kind of like cricket.
Yeah, love cricket. All right, I'm in.
Yeah, it's like cricket.
I've never seen a cricket game in my life, except I think like a show. They had like a
reality show.
No, I can't remember what it was. It might have been like How I Met Your Mother or some show or something. Some sitcom a long time ago when they had it. But other than that, that's about all I've seen. But anyway.
Hey, if Milwaukee gets a cricket team, we'll be covering them.
I'll be there. I'll be learning cricket.
Perfect. Hop on the Milwaukee cricket bandwagon, everybody.
What would their name be?
Crickets.
What? The Jiminy's?
The Jiminy's. The Milwaukee Jiminy's. I love it. Oh, that's exactly why we bring you here, Francisco, for the hard hitting.
Right. That's all I'm good for.
But definitely appreciate your Brewers coverage. Is there anything else we need to be aware of before we close out this segment and of course this episode for us?
Sorry, I didn't know the end of the question there. I was waiting for you to keep talking.
Anything else to add as we close out?
Oh, there you go. Well said. Hey, now that you mentioned it,
thank you, sir.
Council, have we touched on him yet?
The greatest manager in the history.
Okay, good.
You're talking about? Did I hear that?
Yep. Yeah. Okay, cool. So, as some have said, and that, rumors, word on the street.
Many have hinted at.
I think Council in the whole game.
Yeah, I think when it's all said and done, I think this team is going to beat the Braves. I think it'll be, I think it'll be harder than we think. And I think a lot of times, a lot of fans right now just kind of looking how this team sort of like limped into the postseason. We just got to kind of put that behind us. And like Yelich tweeted, like it's a whole new season now. It all starts fresh. Everyone has a 0 ERA. Everyone has a 0 batting average. It's a fresh new start. So I think it's gonna be really fun. It's gonna be really exciting. I can't wait to watch baseball. I was hoping there would be some baseball tonight. Then I realized it's okay because the Raiders are playing tonight. I don't know what the score. I don't know what the score is, so don't tell me. I have that recorded.
We're very appreciative of you taking the time, though. Do you have a game? How many games do you think the Brewers will take it in?
4.
4, Nick?
Brewers in 4. I'll say 5.
Oh, if it's 5, I don't feel how confident I feel.
I'll say Brewers in 3 because that's kind of my shtick to just be optimistic, and I think they're capable of it. I think 3 games of Burns, Woodruff, Peralta is
Peralta might start for game 4 from what I've been seeing.
And with the three of us, they
might throw Lauer in their game at 3 as a lefty to kind of switch it up on them. I don't know if that's true. I've just heard that. I've read it somewhere here and there.
Brewers in however many games it takes to get to Peralta.
There we go. Oh. And that starts Friday, October 8th, 3:37 Milwaukee time, a very specific time.
Ooh. Yep. Thank you again, Francisco, for coming on. We really need it and appreciate it. And you boost our baseball coverage literally millions of times over. So we appreciate it.
Always
Absolutely.
talking to you too, man. Thank you once
Yeah.
again.